I'm just gonna leave this here. But welcome, Reuben. Welcome to the pod.
It's an honor, man. Like I'm so excited, and it's an honor to be here. It's gonna be sick. We're gonna have a good content today.
We're gonna have good banter. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, 100%.
But do you want to tell everyone how we met in the first place?
Yeah, man. It's how we met. Oh man, this is going way back. How many years now? You reckon?
Probably. I was gonna say 3. Like 3 years ago.
I think it's been longer than that.
Maybe even more.
Yeah, because it's back when I was working at like Hype downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we met? I was working in retail in Hype, DC, selling shoes and whatnot, grinding, and then I remember when you came in at the time, and then you were with your missus at the time, and you walked in, and I clearly remember like you had a wide brim hat, and you had like I think a beige like knit like jumper or something at the time, but the thing that stood out to me was like your shoes, man, and that's what like I was like, man, I had to compliment your shoes.
Wait, what shoes were they?
You were wearing like the RAF stands, the beige.
Oh, the beige ones. Yeah, we were talking about it before.
Like, yeah, I was like, damn. And I'm like, and I remember like talking to you ages ago. I'm like, what happened to those shoes? And you're like, I sold it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Man, those shoes are honestly, I still love like the RAF stands. I don't care what people say, man. Like honestly, hard shoe. Like the leather is so sick.
So sick.
But the first one that is like
the
beige, the
like,
navy, the grey, and the pink as well.
I like the aged white ones too. Were sick.
Yeah, those are
like
sick.
The stress white.
Sanj had a pair as well.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Man, So that goes way back.
That's way back. And like this is the thing. You were so open to just have a chat.
Yeah.
And like we would chat. I reckon when we first met, we chatted for like 45 minutes in store.
Yeah.
I felt bad because you were working, and you're like, nah, don't worry about it. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah. I remember like we were chatting for ages, and my manager like at the time like as in they were cool as long as we were like engaging with customers and stuff, like that was the culture back then, like with sneakers and stuff, man. Like honestly, like as in back then when I used to work for the company, like they didn't really care like in terms of what you did, as long as you're engaging with the customers, you gave them premium service and you connected over something, and all the employees that was working for Hype at the time, like they actually cared about shoes. Like, they loved it and everything, and that's what they cared about. But now, like the management shifted and whatnot. Their values is different now. So I mean,
whereabouts are you working? Whereabouts are you working now?
Oh man, I work in the most deadliest financial company out there. It honestly is.
Oh, it's scary, but it's good.
It's good. It's a good service, but I work for Afterpay at the moment, so. Yeah, it's a deadly one, man. Like I get to see accounts like on a daily basis, help people out, get to see like people like in debt and stuff. But yeah, like it's a really good company to work for.
Yeah, and we were chatting before when we got food.
Yeah.
How you said how Farfetch is on there now.
Yeah. So actually,
Revolve's on there.
Yeah.
That's scary, bro.
It's deadly.
That is scary.
Like as Afterpay is growing, like they're trying to like reach like the most desired way to pay. So there's heaps of stores that offer Afterpay, and I even written it down. And I was like, man, should I post this on Underground and like just like tell people these are the places that's offer Afterpay?
You might as well tell people on the pod. Fuck it.
Oh well, I mean, I've got a list here. So for those who are listening in, if you want to get like your luxury stuff on Afterpay, there's Farfetch, there's Lessons, Harold's.
Harold's is dangerous. Yeah. That's dangerous.
ENQ, if you want some like Stone Island pieces, or like if you're into like that kind of like skate kind of culture kind of thing. There's Double based up in Brisbane. Cabin Noir.
Yeah, Cabin Noir.
In Perth. Yeah. Then Revolve has it. Highs and Lows is also in Perth. Yeah. David Jones, like if you consider that as a thing.
True.
So
Could be semi-high end.
Yeah. I mean, like they have the like Gucci and stuff in their store, so like you can like legit go in store and use Afterpay. Yeah. Hectic. Then Republic Boutique, which I found really surprising. So like
they do stock Rick as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So a lot of like avant-garde pieces if you're into that. Sneaker Boy, crazy. And then the last one, if for the girls out there, Jimmy Choo, if you're into that. And if you consider this as, I guess, like high fashion, I guess I don't want to say it, but as in like if you're into your Michael Kors, like
you're into the Michael Kors, I don't think you should.
It's not high fashion, but what? If you're into luxury stuff, I mean, respect to you, props to you. But yeah, Afterpay is going really well. If you want to use Jetstar, you can Jetstar.
Oh yeah, Jetstar flights you can get on sale too, like on Afterpay, which is mad.
Yeah.
But we came on this, like we've met like 4 years ago, and we've only like caught up like 3 times since then.
Yeah.
Like every time we see each other, it's like nothing's changed. It's like we catch up on old shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think just like within the past year of 2019, like that we've gone through so much. And
Oh yeah, like we can both relate, which we'll talk about soon.
Where we
can relate to a lot of shit that's happened.
I mean, there's a lot that happened within that year, and I believe we grew as in individuals. And yeah, when we recently caught up prior to this, as in we had like crazy convos, like and deep stuff, and touched base on like a lot of things that are unsaid. And that, as in, and a lot of things that we could relate together as like just individuals, as like not just as creatives within fashion, but like just as individuals within relationships, as guys, and yeah, there's a lot. You
particularly are like one of very few fashion friends of mine.
Oh,
like hands down, like I've got like my groups that I have that I hang out with. They see me as like the weird one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, always. Like
interesting.
When I rock my Doc Marten loafers, I get called granddad.
Oh, damn!
Always.
Interesting.
And they're like, what the fuck's that?
Yeah.
That's why, like, when I see you, every time we finish like catching up, or whatever, I'll go home and I'll be so gassed to get stuff.
Oh, interesting. Like, it's funny you say that because like. For me as well, like as in I'm pretty expressive in terms of like what I like to wear, but not to an extent like that is. As in like, so whatever I like, I'll adapt to my style. But I'll like, a lot of my friends like appreciate that I'm weird, but they know that that's just me. Like, they don't like knock it back or anything. Sometimes like I'd have a bit of just like, man, like I don't want them to judge me, but at the end of the day, it's what I like. I don't really care.
Yeah, and the thing is like when people say you dress weird, I get triggered by that.
Yeah,
because like it's not weird. It's you're dress
weird.
like like you're the one that's weird for not fucking 100. Knowing us like the way we dress, and that's when like when I see you, like I'll go home. Like I remember last time we spoke, I think we went for coffees or something, and you're wearing your Stone Island jacket. I went home, went straight on ENQUIRIES, and I started sussing Stone Island, like legit.
I think so for example, like I've been wearing a lot of jewelry lately, like even like this cross necklace. I mean not necklace, this earring. And I've been like wanting to buy a lot of like more like earrings and stuff. I think mainly because like I look a lot to my style now, and to like I guess you can call me like whatever, man, but like as in I'm not gonna front, and I'm not gonna be like shy to say, but I love BTS, like love BTS 100%. And like a lot of their style like is in I can put like I guess more to the feminine side. They take care of themselves really well.
So how would you describe to the audience who don't know what BTS is?
All right, so BTS is again a men's boy band based in South Korea. So it's a K-pop.
Like K-pop?
Yeah, K-pop. If you don't listen to K-pop, they're probably one of the biggest right now. I dare say one of the biggest out there. And as in like a lot of how like these individuals that are a part of it, like they have their own style. And like for me, I relate to one. And man, I think I got into this one person his name's Jimin, by the way. If no one knows BTS, he's like real Saint Laurent-esque. So he wears a lot of Saint Laurent stuff.
So very rock star, grungy type vibe.
Yeah, so he'd wear a lot of skinny jeans. He'd wear a lot of boots. He'd wear a lot of like oversized, or not really oversized, like sometimes oversized like knits and stuff like that. And he's like real expressive in terms of his jewelry as well. And I mean, I think I really liked that part of like the jewelry, and I really wanted that to be a part of me as well. And so like I've been wearing a lot of like weird ass jewelry. Maybe not weird, but like in terms of my earrings and stuff. As in, I don't wear like the F-boy studs anymore.
Yeah, or like the really grungy, like thick Cuban necklaces and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean maybe not too much. Like, that's a bit much for me. But I guess within time, like I'll adapt to that. But yeah, as in like even like just like hand drill like bracelets and stuff like that. And I mean one thing for sure is just like my self-care is 100%, because like a lot of Korean people, like in their culture, it's like taking care of yourself is like normal.
Yeah, like this is it the 10 step Korean skincare routine?
Yeah, I mean I don't really have a intense like skincare routine, but I do try to take care of myself in terms of like my skin, like how I look, like definitely like I even do my nails, like as in shout outs like
no people. Shit, I actually
do my nails.
What the fuck?
I actually do get my manicures done. Like,
holy shit.
I don't care what people say, man. Like as in
that's a fucking flex. I respect that. I really do.
think there's this one like interview. The reason why I decided to do it is because I was watching an interview on Noisy of A$AP Rocky.
Yeah.
And one thing he said is like he totally believes that like everything that we do, like obviously if you're straight, everything that you do, like you do it for your looks, and you do it to attract their significant other.
Yeah.
So you attract it for girls.
Yeah.
So everything. So he even does his nails and everything like that. So I'm like, man, that's respect. You know, I'll do my nails because I actually pay attention to that stuff.
Holy shit.
I even get my eyebrows threaded. I don't care what people say. Like I go get my eyebrows threaded. I don't care what people think. Like, and you can think I'm gay, but I'm not gay. Like,
exactly.
I know what I am. I don't care what people think about me, but like as in I look good. I look good, man.
Exactly. exactly. And when you look good, you feel good too.
Exactly, 100%. So
you get like a lot of confidence from it too.
Exactly, and I totally believe there's like if you take care of yourself, like, and you not just like in terms of how you look as well, but your health, whatever. If you take care of yourself and you maintain that really well, like health in general is like really important.
Wow, because I'm like someone's been pushing me to get like my nails done and like get rid of all the side shit, like all this stuff here.
Yeah, man. Like,
like
100.
I'm so surprised you get it done because I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah,
like your hands just always look clean.
Yeah,
especially with the rings and stuff too.
Exactly, and I think nails, like, for me, I think maybe it's just the attention to detail part of me.
Yeah,
it's like I'll actually look at my nails and stuff, and I'm just like, man, there's so much bumps. It needs to be like buffed out and stuff like that. But that's just me. Maybe because I grew up with 3 sisters, and like that's all they cared about. And like they cared about like their hair, they cared about their skin care routines, like even moisturizers. When it comes to moisturizers,
yeah, I've noticed that I use sunscreen as a moisturizer, which a lot of females use now.
Yeah, exactly. And like even for myself, like as in I have 3 moisturizers like for my body, separate. Like so I have one for my face, one for my body, and one for my hands. And I would never use. Like,
what brands do you use?
Aesop.
You the flex
for the
boy.
people out there. Aesop, let's go.
You flexing hard with this Aesop, bro.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But like then I think it's just the natural oils and like the hydration that gives to my skin. It's very important. Like to me, that is.
Yeah.
To me. A lot of people wouldn't care, but I mean, like, that's just me.
Yeah, because when I was obviously like the shit that we've been through throughout 2019, I never took care of myself.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember actually thinking about it now. Yesterday, I was browsing through like my Mac and cleaning out like just stuff on my desktop, and I came across a video, which was the first video I posted in October, which was like the reasoning why I came back, like what's been happening, blah blah blah. Yeah. And I looked like shit. I had like redness on my face. It wasn't like I just looked unhealthy. And then now going to Lush and drinking water and using like all the natural stuff from Lush, I feel like it's helped heaps.
Yeah, definitely.
Like beard oils, moisturizer, cleanser. Like you don't realize all this shit, and it's very overwhelming.
Yeah. I mean, for a guy, I think it takes a while to come into that comfortability of accepting, like I mean, not really accepting, but as in like breaking your comfortability of thinking that it's a bit feminine. It's not, like, as in I don't think it's feminine at all. There's a lot of guys that actually do care about themselves, that are straight, and like, and they care about themselves. Like, take me for example. You might look at me like on the street and think that this guy's gay, but I can tell you 100% I am not gay. Like,
because the stereotype is if you dress really well, you're gay.
Yeah. If you dress really well, you're gay, or like if you pay attention to like how you look too well, you're gay. But matter of fact, I'm not gay. Like, as in, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, I even thought about it myself. I'm like, nah, because I love girls too much. I idolize them too much. I check them out. They're just magic. My Instagram Explore page is full of it. Like,
of just LGs.
Oh man, I even have a page. Like, shout outs to the guys. Like, you know who it is. Like the Instagram group. Actually, I'm not gonna name their names.
Don't name names, but I think they know who they are.
But we know who it is. But yeah, we all love girls like on that, and we just legit just share girls on that thing. And then like, but I mean, we do it to appreciate. We're not like, I mean, we're not there to like, you know, like
to smack talk and do like the typical.
Yeah, we're not like disgusting about it, but we appreciate girls. Yeah, 100%. And then I think the one like commonality that we all came together and formed this group is because of Blackpink, which is another like girl group.
Okay.
Like, we all love Blackpink, as in all of us, and we all have our, I guess, preferences in real life. But that's why we came together. And anyway, yeah.
Well, who's your celebrity crush?
Oh man, I think right at the as of this moment, like it would have to be from Blackpink, probably Jennie. If you haven't seen what she looks like, I'll show you real quick.
Yeah, show me.
Man, she is. I don't know, but
dress as well, because we said before our rating system that we had.
Oh yeah, okay,
that's fucking mad. That was so good. It's true.
So as in, maybe it's just me and you. Like, but I like to think it's for the like in the fashion community as a whole. It's like if the girl is like maybe like about a 5 or a 3. Like, I mean, maybe not. 3,
which is a rating system is just a guy thing, so don't take it to heart. But this is how it works.
I mean, this is how guys do it. I mean, like as bad as it sounds, and as I guess a beast kind of thing.
Yeah.
As dirty as it sounds, it's not that bad. But anyway, when we view a girl, like as in we put them on a scale.
Scale 1 to 10.
I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I mean, sorry to expose you like this, but this
it's how it is.
This is how it is.
Like, but it's always the boys' chats will be like, oh, she's a fucking 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Or like, this one's a 10 out of 10, which is like, you don't ever come across.
Yeah, exactly. Me and my friends, like, I mean, one of my friends, like, we try to relate it to Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not as bad. So we say attack points.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, as in, like, oh, yeah, this one's like 3,000 attack points, like a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And the other one's
that's
like
fucking good as.
But even that's just in the public because no one really cares about Yu-Gi-Oh these days. Anyway, so for how the rating system works is like for us, that is what we're talking about. It's like if the girl's like a 5 or a 3 or whatever, if they dress really well, it bumps them up automatic to a 7 to an 8.
7 or to an 8. 100%,
I'm so sorry,
bro.
Personality will contribute to that as well. I was like, I'll drop some points, but 100%, like first impressions do matter. Like,
well, 100%. Like my first thing always is if they dress well, it's a fucking instant like in my book.
Yeah,
like,
100. Yeah.
No matter what it is, if you dress well and you know your style and you know your clothing and you know like your brands and designers and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that is like the biggest turn on.
Yeah.
Like legit, I won't lie.
You know what I think of? I just think of those Grail memes. Like,
These Grail memes.
Yeah. I remember they posted one ages ago.
I'm gonna find it. Yeah, I'm so gonna find it.
Like, you should splurge on that three jacket or something like that, man. And then there's this other one where it's like a Drees meme. It's like how like that guy in the club is like whispering to that girl. Like,
fuck,
man,
where was it?
I want to buy some, man. This is like hilarious. Like just like some good ass content from Grail, man. Hey, whoever's running that.
Whoever runs on social media, fucking hell, you guys kill it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like this one was me explaining to my wife why I spent our rent money on a Parker with a New Order cover art on the back.
Yeah, 100%. There's another one. It's like, shit. Where is it?
This one's my favorite. Childhood is when you idolize Batman. Adulthood is when you realize you prefer low-key pieces with our big logos.
Yes, that's
and
me.
There's a photo of Batman and Joker.
Man,
it's fucking
this
beautiful.
Is hilarious. There's one that I really want to try and find. Like, oh man, where is it? But I remember, like, it was like this guy whispering to. It's like, you know, like that, how the guy's whispering to the girl over the ear, and it's like in the club.
Yeah.
And it was like talking about a Drees piece, and I was like lolling hard. But, oh man, there's heaps of other memes. I'm just gonna keep scrolling down. But anyway, fashion memes. Honestly, whoever runs that page.
Everyone, that is just like.
There's
it makes my day.
Yeah, like Meme Saint Laurent, like that's a good ass page.
Yeah, Meme Saint Laurent's good too.
Yeah, there's heaps of quality content, man.
This is I found it. It goes, marry a girl who says things like, "I'm proud of you. I can't believe you're mine. You're right. I was wrong. You can do it, baby. I don't think that jacket's too expensive. It's worth it for the quality and fit."
Wait, the last one.
Think of it as an investment piece. If you found a fucking girl that spoke like that. Dude, marry her.
Yeah,
fucking
100,
marry her.
100%. If a girl says that about your, if you're into fashion or whatever it may be, cars or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Whatever your collector's item is, like for us it's fashion, but if your girl says that, man, that is wifey material. 100%.
Like that is
100%.
That's like an S tier.
Biggest supporter, right? 100%.
Yeah. Like if you rocked up at home, like you're with your wife and you rocked up with a teddy jacket, which is something that you want, and she goes, "How much did you pay?" You're like, "Oh, I pay like 3 stacks."
Yeah, 3 bands.
It's a good investment piece.
Yeah, it's like
days.
She'll be like, "What brand is it?" It's like, "Oh, it's Saint Laurent." It's like, "Okay, I can see it. I can understand that."
Yeah,
thank
just,
you.
Fuck, man.
I remember my previous spouse, the girl that I was dating before, like she had kind of doubts about my style, but not like towards like the end of our relationship, she like started to accept like what I was wearing and stuff. But she always used to be like real iffy about my things that I wanted to buy. Yeah. Sometimes she'll be like, she's very hard edged, not hard edged, but she'll be very like I think this I don't really like that piece, but I don't know it'll look good on you. Okay. And so I'm like, would
she if you like showed her something, let's say it was like let's say it was a Drees piece that you knew you'd liked, and has she ever said you can't have it?
No, she wouldn't say like you can't have it, but she would be like, it's probably not the best time for you to buy it right now.
Okay, which she was looking out for you. Understandable.
Like as in obviously the incomes that we had back then was like retail, so it was just like, nah, don't do it. It's like it's not the best, but knowing fashion, man, like that would never come back.
I know.
It would never come back. So like as in my head, I'm just like, damn, I really want to invest, but. As in like that flip side, it's like the financial side. It's like I don't have the income for it, but what sacrifice am I willing to make to get?
Yeah, and like we said before this, what were your goals for pieces to buy this year?
Yeah, so like as in like what kind of sacrifices you would make, right?
Yeah, and like let's say let's tell the listeners what kind of grails you got on your list that you want to get this year.
Oh, this year I'm just like, I don't care, man. Like 2020, we're just gonna go massive stacks. Let's go. Like as in, I'm gonna get a pair of Wyatts. As in, like I know that's on everyone's list, but like Wyatts is 100% on my go-to.
Do you care what season?
No, I don't really care what season, to be honest. I just want that 4 centimeter heel.
Oh yes.
Because I got these Chelseas right now, the same one Chelseas, and I thought they were like gonna be a 4, but like they're a 3 centimeter. I'm sad, but I mean like I freaking love these. Like these are my everyday rotations. But Wyatt's 4 centimeter heels, 100%. Let's go. Second is like the Wyatt jacket. I mean, not the Wyatt jacket, the Teddy jacket. 100. I have to get the
what
Teddy
color?
jacket. The black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah.
Steez, bro.
I mean, my friend Zaya, who runs Newspread, shout outs
to Zaya. The boys.
Yeah, like I think one of his friends, Michael, or it could be his piece. I don't know, man. Zaya, you buy too much stuff and just sell it. But anyway,
I think I follow Michael on IG.
Yeah,
pretty sure I do.
I don't know. One of them do like have a Teddy jacket, but it's grey.
Yeah.
And that was fire. I love that. That was sick. So that's on my list as well. But then so heaps of like streetwear stuff on my list to cop at the moment, because I feel like there's a lot of like pieces that I want to get as basics, but I don't want to get the basics. You know what I mean? So like for example, like I want to get like Air Force Ones. I freaking love Air Force Ones.
Air Force Ones are
man, it's just like
easy to wear.
Yeah, 100%. Such a sick shoe.
Cheap too compared to what we like anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. On the what we like, I guess it's more on the affordable side.
Yeah.
But I want to get the John Elliott version of them, which is like the leather looks insane. Like the details is crazy, but it's like it looks like a normal Air Force One. But if you know, you know. Like as in, if you pay attention to clothes, you know what the Air Force, what the John Elliott Air Force Ones want. And I also want the like acronym Air Force Ones, the all white. Yeah. They're sick Air Force Ones.
Have you seen the They just released a photo a couple of days ago or a week ago. It was the CDG Air Force One, and it was like a redone. It was like an Air Force One, but
like a swoosh like that's cut.
Yeah, the swoosh was cut, and the material was actually looked like it just been cut with scissors and like slapped on.
Yeah.
It was like an all white Air Force One.
They did that with the CDG BOGO recently.
Okay.
Like and it's like a split. So what they do is like a cut and sew, like they practically cut it, and then you know like how Vetemonts would be doing like the hoodies where it's cut and they put two together. It's
and it'd just be off centered.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, but the BOGO was just like one, like it wasn't aligned and it was backwards, and then like the BOGO would be one here and then one slightly below it.
Okay.
It was fire, but I mean like I don't have money for a burger, and plus, man, I'm over Supreme in terms of like,
that's
normal
like
stuff.
it's
or just Supreme in general.
Like Supreme does have sometimes like some nice pieces that aren't so Supreme-y.
Yeah,
like it's not so brandy.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Definitely.
But it's still hit and miss though.
Yeah, and it actually makes me want to ask you a question. Is in terms of like fashion and stuff, like as in, like, is it important to you? Because like I've always had this in my head, and actually like one of my friends called me and they're starting their own brand, and they asked me a couple of set of questions, and it made me think as well, as in like, is it important like what a brand values or what they stand for? Is that important to the consumer or you? Do you think that's important for them?
I feel like when it comes to the brand's values, it really depends. Like if the brand's value was like to just rip off other designers and, you know, recreate a piece that's identical with no creative thought, then I'd be a bit shiny and be like, oh no, I'm not sure if I vibe with that.
Yeah.
Like Fear of God, for instance, for me, like we said this before, I can respect Jerry, but I remember hearing about this last year about he used to, he'd DM people for vintage tees for like $100, put his logo on it, and then sell it for like 1.2.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was like one thing. When I heard that story, I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if I vibe with that.
Yeah.
And the other one was when I'm not going to say he literally mimicked the Rick Owen pants, but like kind of put his little bit of Steez to it, but it looked almost identical.
Yeah, I get.
That's when I was like, okay, the creative outlet's not really there, but still I can respect. Like we both said, the time and effort it would have taken to make all those pieces that Jerry's made. Fair enough. Like I can respect that. But values in terms of like if a company, like for instance, like a fast fashion outlet like H&M. I used to work there, so I know how like what they were like. They were pricks. Like everyone, like management was fucked. Their clothes were just so. It was because it's so fast fashion. The materials are picked out to not last long at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if you went and bought out like a $20 tee, it lasts you 2 months, and you have to go back and buy another one.
Yeah.
And whereas now, like there's a whole stigma on fast fashion now that people want to start. They want to use like recycled materials. They want to be like all about sustainability. So everyone's starting to use sustainable materials and like be able to use long-lasting fabrics.
Yeah.
So if I hear a brand that's like all about that, I'm fucking up for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was talking to this about my sister, but not so much about fashion, but like just in brands in general. Like, would you opt in terms of like what you care about? And as a consumer for myself, like, I do care about what they value and everything like that. What their like their mission and vision is. Like, for example, there's this brand out there that's called like Who Gives a Crap.
Okay.
It's a toilet paper brand, right? And like they make toilet papers essentially and distribute it to cafes and everything, but they're so like they pride themselves in like that 50% of their profits go to helping building toilets like across like third world countries. Their branding is amazing.
Yeah,
they put like they place themselves in the most like in really good like young like companies that would actually like care about this, like cafes. 100% people would care about that. And like for me as a consumer, like as in I'm at to a point where then it's like I actually would care about what the company does.
Yeah, I feel like you hit that certain age where you start caring about more so about the product, but what's behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't just apply to like as in I guess investing back into the community. It could also be like as in their values is like what they stand for as a brand. Like for example, if I had to put it like for Saint Laurent, for example, like they're just a very tailored fitting, like very skinny kind of fit, very rock star-esque. And then if you versus like Jerry Lorenzo with Fear of God, like very grungy, oversized and stuff like that. And even Rick Owens, like it's just like very artisanal in terms of like avant-garde, you know. And like I think when it comes to like, these kind of brands, and I believe that unconsciously everyone like gravitates to what they like, and unconsciously like do value what the brand cares about in terms of like what they communicate as a brand, what they do as an end user, like for the end users, and as well as like for the community as well. And I think everyone does it unconsciously, but obviously there's going to be a small community that doesn't give a crap.
Exactly, because there's obviously like for instance my parents, they wouldn't care about like the sustainability of clothing and everything like that because it's not really on their mind. They haven't been brought up.
Exactly.
But now we're hitting that, like I feel like we're hitting that stage in everyone's life now. We have to start thinking about that shit.
Yeah, definitely. I think it might be a millennial thing as well.
Yeah, it could be. That's most
as in like us as millennials, like we just like we care about like everything or every little detail about everything. And that just applies to not just even like fashion or brands in a whole, but like even how we carry out our lives, our careers that we carry and everything like that. We care about that. What we study and everything, and we want to attain to like a certain like career and everything, and the stuff that would go to it. And even like when we were talking before about like what investments we're doing to better ourselves and sharpen ourselves. Like even like putting ourselves in like a learning position. Like I think that's what all millennials really want.
I feel like a lot of millennials now just they can almost learn on their own. Like a lot of, because we have YouTube at our disposal, like you can learn anything.
That's true.
Like we were talking before about like sewing and stuff. Like even though we're both not qualified, we can jump on YouTube, find a sewing machine and just start sewing. You just got to copy it. That's a very millennial thing. And my dad actually starts doing it now because he's building a trailer of like a food truck. So he'll just jump on YouTube and try to, you know, learn how to weld off YouTube. And he's done it. And I'm like, fuck. I feel like it's so, we have a lot of at our disposal. Which is
and
good.
There's a lot of things that are at our disposal. Like there's even like courses that you can take online that's free. You can learn like resources at our fingertips. Like the beauty about being a millennial in this age is like we're at an age that we want to learn, and there's so many resources that we can just tap into to learn all of these like the skills that we want to enhance and whatnot. And most of the time we probably little to none pay nothing like to learn these skills. And I think that's the good thing about it, because like you can learn so much. Like and better yourself with the next season or whatever that is. Man.
This is a good start. This is a fucking good start. I'm rating this. We had like, I know you sent me some questions before that we definitely wanted to talk about, so I'm more than happy to dive into it.
Actually, let's go. I want to ask you a couple of questions. I want to turn this.
See, this guy, he literally went from being a guest on the pod to wanting to interview me, but you're gonna give your opinion on it too.
100%.
Like, definitely like two-way
when I saw when Rob was like, "Hey, I need to really get you on this podcast." Like, I listen to podcasts myself. But like a lot of podcasts I listen to is more of like religious based, and like because I myself am a Christian and I'm not shy to say that I am, but I won't Bible bash you into believing what.
And we spoke of that last time we went for coffees and stuff. Like you see yourself as very spiritual and very religious, but you're not gonna bash and put it down someone's throat.
Exactly.
Hey, come over to our side. This is just my point of view.
Exactly.
It's my opinion. It's how I view things, and that's it.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about that, or even unpack on that thought. As in, hey, I'm not gonna bash communities about this, but as in like. This freedom of will, like quote unquote, like freedom of speech. Like, I feel like it's kind of like not even evident in a sense, because like as in like I don't want to put any communities under the shame or anything, but for example, like for where I stand and everything, like what I believe, like is that sometimes I can't voice it out because it's too controversial.
And it's a little bit like, even though it's freedom of speech, you still feel like it's that day and age now where everyone's so offended by stuff.
Exactly.
Like, really easily offended.
Exactly, and that's a funny thing about it. And it's like I respect whatever you view as well. It's like, but let me like at least share how I stand and how I view this. But the funny thing is they can do that. But the thing is, like, when I do it, it's like I get like, as in I full on get like straight away like thrown under the bus. You know what I mean? And that's a funny thing about it. But I mean, that's society. And then it's like the day and age where we live in, like, as sad as it sounds, like we live in a society that's always offended.
Yeah, and it never used to be like that though.
Yeah, that's true. And then I was even listening to like a preacher talk about this. Like, we live in a day and age where everyone's like offended, and he even he was talking about like, as in, like, how we're trapped in a fence, in a sense that, like, as in when we're trapped in a fence. I don't know if you guys want to listen to it. His name is Rich Wilkerson Jr. and he's a pastor at Miami, Florida. His church is called VU Church.
Okay.
Like VOUS.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's talking about trapped in a fence, and that's what the title of his sermon. Anyway, he was talking about like how us as individuals, like now in this day and age, how like we always like we be trapped in our fence. We get offended and we allow that to affect our exterior to a point where it's like, hey, like, it's like we don't actually take time to analyze, like, and actually like come into forgiveness of what we of that person or something like that, you know. And like, it can apply to marriages. Like, so many marriages have breakdowns because of lack of communication.
Oh, that was definitely like 100% in my case as well, which I wasn't married, but communication was a big thing in general. Yeah.
And then even like within a workplace setting, someone might have said something to you, and that you did, like, they didn't know it was out of line, but you took offense to that. Yeah. And now you've allowing your workflow be interrupted because of that one individual. Okay. So like, as in, it's just all about like, as in, like, that communication, and honestly speaking, like, as in, like, it's comes down to it, like, of communication at the end of the day. Yeah. But yeah, talking about the questions that we were like wanting to ask you. All right, so I broke it down into 3 topics that I want to ask you. So I feel like I'm going to interview you today. Oh my god, we're going to mix it up. All right. So we've got 3 topics that I really want to touch up onto you today. So we're going to talk about fashion, obviously. Yeah. We're going to talk about fashion. Yeah. We're going to talk about relationships, because we both had pretty extensive years of understanding relationships,
which would be good to talk about. 100%.
And then last one we're going to talk about is self-development, because I believe there's a lot of self-development things that you learn along your journey.
Yeah, and that you've learned as well from yours.
Yeah, and mine as well. So anyway, first question is, I already asked you this, but so I'm going to skip through these. Okay, so we've already talked about what connects you or gravitates you to a particular brand. Actually, no, we haven't.
Oh no, we haven't. But we can talk about it.
Yeah. So what connects you or gravitates you towards a particular brand for you?
Well, in my case, it would have had to been definitely like influencers. Yeah. Like, to see how certain like brands fit on certain people. Yeah. That's like definitely like a big thing in my book. Like, if I see someone out on the street wearing a pair of pleats, and I didn't really, or even like on YouTube, for instance, let's say YouTuber busted out like a new brand that had like, let's say, Issy pleats when they weren't a thing. Yeah. When I didn't know about them and I saw someone wear them, and I saw them, they looked fucking good. I'm like, all right, mad. That's definitely gonna be a big influence into me getting onto the brand. Yeah, definitely. And another one would have had to be with Rick, with the way that his stuff fits. It's a lot more of like broad-shouldered people, a lot more of the bigger dudes too. Yeah. But it can still like gravitate to like the more petite market as well. Yeah, 100%. And then the real thing that gravitated me towards Rick was when I went to Tokyo and went to his actual store. Yeah. And the customer service there was just like impeccable. Yeah. Impeccable. Like, I can't fathom how good the service was. It got to a point where the guy that worked there, if I go back to Tokyo, I could get a drink with him. Yeah, that's like, and like we follow each other on Instagram. Like, he'll message me and say, like, new pieces have come in, like, whenever you're down in Tokyo, blah blah blah. I feel like that's with like a brand like Rick Owens, to be able to have customer service like that, to pull me in so hard to be able to get a drink with this guy is fucked. Yeah, like, that is crazy. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like that would be the main thing, and then the influencers would have to definitely be another thing. Yeah, I think influencers play a massive integral role in terms of how we like gravitate towards a brand. Like, for myself, like, as in like, yeah, as in, like, I would look at something and be like, man, you're into it, and I can see your, like, as in, there'll be like the stepping stone in a sense. It's like, oh yeah, I can see you doing it. For example, we talked about this, like, in terms of like how ASAP and Lil Uzi Vert, like tread that wave. Yeah. It's like these handbags, these women handbags that these guys are wearing handbags, and like they paved the way in the sense that like they're breaking the boundaries of like women's and menswear. Yeah. And you're seeing that and you're like, hey, I actually like that. I want to opt into that as well. I think for myself, it's just like the influences play a massive integral role, like into what I like. As if I look up to someone and I'm like, hey, your style's sick,
then I'll be like, oh, I want to know more about that brand.
Yeah.
And stuff, and see like why. I think second thing is like definitely like the community base and like the experience behind it all.
Definitely.
I guess if you want to call it values or whatever, yeah, that definitely plays an integral role as well for me. I think those just main two, like as in terms of the influencers that carry the brand, and then the experience that you get from it.
Yeah.
Or the experience / values of the brand.
Definitely. One thing that keeps coming to mind is when ASAP dropped that line on Peso, when it was like Rick Owens, Ralph Simmons, usually when I'm dressed in.
Yeah.
Now everyone busts that because like he said that in 2012 or 2011.
Yeah, Ralph Simmons, Rick Owens.
Usually what I'm dressed in. Like everyone uses that shit now. Like even
the song Raph. Like isn't
literally Raph with Frank and shit. It's the exact same thing. It's that massive influence that hip hop community has now.
Yeah.
With fashion, because fashion in hip hop was never, I wouldn't say it was never really a thing, but it's so much more bigger now than it was before.
Exactly, yeah, definitely.
It's so like there's a lot more like A$AP Rocky paved the way for like men's fashion.
Oh, 100%,
being like one of the
100%.
most like, for me, one of the most well dressed individuals within the last decade, even though he has dropped off a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like style wise he's a little bit but everyone else is just picking up their waves, and it's a like massive influence
100%.
on us.
Yeah, definitely,
for sure.
definitely. I think that definitely plays a part. All right, so we already asked you what you believe, or like if brand, what they stand for and values matter to a customer. But the next question I wanted to ask you in terms of fashion for the last question is what factors do you take into consideration in purchasing an item?
Ooh, it's a big one.
I got asked this question. I'm like, damn. All right, so I'll let you start.
Yeah, this is like if I have to think about like what's my process when I buy. So I studied this in marketing as well. So from a marketing standpoint, if you were to look at a consumer, it's always, I think there's 4 or 5 steps. There's the reasoning for wanting or needing something. So first they have to come up with
Maslow's theory? Or
I think it's Maslow's or something like that.
Yeah,
where they have to be, let's think about, all right, let's say if my car breaks down, I need a new car. Now the reasoning is I need a new car because my car broke down. So that's step 1. Step 2 is starting to, I think it's start to research and find out different brands. 3rd is like the initial buying, and then 4th is like review.
Yeah.
So then like, what do I actually like this product? Blah blah blah. But in my case, it would have to be first financially. Am I able to afford it?
Yeah.
And am I going to get a lot of back? Am I going to be on the back pedal if I buy it?
Yeah.
Second thing would definitely have to be like research into, I wouldn't say alternatives, but let's say if I'm after a trench and I see one from Rick, I know I'm not able to afford it. Let's see if I can find one from ASOS.
Yeah.
So I look at more like different
routes.
Yeah, just more of a different route to go until I can reach that end point.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me it would have to be financial first, research, then I'll go on YouTube and see if there's actually video on it.
Yeah.
And then would have to be buying it. Like for starters, I'll buy it secondhand always.
Yeah.
Like rarely I'll buy something brand new. Like the only thing I really ever bought brand new designer would have had to be my Rick pants in Tokyo, and that was a lot of money. And I look at it now, I could have saved like $500.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that's just the hard thing. Like even though it was just like then and there, they fit good. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get it. If I was to look at it again, I definitely would have gone more, let's suss ground first before I do anything.
Yeah.
And really do a bit of research, and maybe a nice community too, because there's always communities within different brands.
Yeah.
There's always like the Yoji community. There's one on Rick. There's one even like the High Fashion Talk, which we're both a part of.
Yeah. I'm not really active on that. But
yeah, I'm not here, but it's good to browse and just see, and everyone has their thoughts.
Yeah.
And there's obviously like opinions on different brands and how brands work and different fits and different shit.
Yeah.
So, but what about you? What's your ideal process when you buy something?
Oh man, so there's heaps of factors that I take into consideration. Not like no sequential order or anything like that. I think 100% is the financial position I'm in. Like that, we always have to take that in consideration. Like if you're in a financial position and you can't pay for it, don't use Afterpay. 100%. Don't use
Even though this man works for Afterpay, don't fucking use it.
Yeah, 100%. Don't use Afterpay. Like if you can't afford it, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Like as in, well, I can't. I take this a lot. I mean, I'm talking to myself right now.
No, I feel like you're talking to me too.
Like, I'm sorry if I'm hurting anyone, but it's true. If you don't have finances, are definitely a major part of what we have to take in consideration. 100%. The second one is like I'll take in consideration like the material, the quality of it.
Oh, that's one thing I forgot too. Definitely the quality.
I think if you're in fashion and you like, or not even fashion, if you just like clothes in general, like 100% you want to buy a piece that's gonna last you.
Yeah.
Not just like in terms of like longevity, but as well as the seasons.
Yeah, because then you have to. That's one thing I definitely forgot to mention is season wise. If I was to buy a coat, can I wear that most of the year round, or is it too hot?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if I really wouldn't like wear something that's like full leather shirling, like invest like 3-4K on it, because like in Australia we're gonna wear that for like 3 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not that cold here.
Yeah. So like, is in seasonal. Like, are you gonna buy a seasonal piece, or are you gonna buy it? Is it gonna be like, because if you're gonna buy a summer piece, let's be honest, like, is in. Like, when you buy a summer piece, you're going to wear it for a little bit here in Australia.
Yeah.
And then when you're going to, like, go back to the next summer season, is it still going to be in trend?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's really integral for me when I'm buying in terms of my wardrobe and everything. And then I think the third one as well, I said, finance, fit, or quality, should I say? Oh, sorry. My tummy's going nuts. Sorry.
What was that burger you fucking smashed?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry, guys. Hoping you didn't hear that. But anyway, so finances, quality, and then I think the last one would be like fit. Like, it definitely, like, 100%. How it fits on my body. For me, like, as in, I pay attention to how a piece like, as in, sits on my body. I'm like 5'3", 5'4". I'm like a small person. I'm petite as hell.
You're very petite, which is why SLP suits you so well.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I'm petite as hell. So I got to make sure that I can't be wearing too many oversized pieces. Like, Fear of God, love the brand, but I can't wear I can't really see myself wearing that kind of brand to an extent. As in, like, some of their pieces tapers in really well, but like even their small stuff doesn't even fit me because it's like so oversized,
massive and oversized.
You know what I mean? Even like Ye's line. Like,
I was literally about to mention Ye's season 2.
Yeah, like I can't even wear Ye's. Like even like okay, look, I want to flex at church and I want to wear Sunday service stuff, like as in like the clothes and stuff, but I can't because it's like hella wide, it's hella big. Yeah, you know, like as in, and so like I can't wear that kind of stuff. But yeah, so fit is definitely going to play an integral role in terms of what I purchase. So that's what I take into consideration. Next, okay, actually, I've got one more question for fashion. What's the most regretful piece that you've invested in?
Oh fuck! Oh my days!
I just thought of one word. Like, anyway.
Fuck! Mine most regretful piece.
Like a regretful purchase in terms of how fashion that is.
Fuck! It'd have to be. Oh, the first one that comes into mind were the. Was it the Yeezy? Was it the 700s? The Yeezy 700 or 750, whatever it was.
Oh no, surely not.
I think it was that.
The boots with the strap.
When he first
the combat boots. Was it 900s? I can't even remember, man. There's so many numbers these days.
Remember that first one he wore and looked like an UGG boot?
Yeah.
That model, but in black.
Oh.
I rocked that, and I spent 1.2 or something.
Damn.
Fuck, I was probably like, it'd have to be maybe my most regretful purchase.
How much did you flip it for though?
I lost money on that. I think I lost like $300 on it or something.
Damn, rough.
Which is fuck. But then I'll answer your question. What is the most regretful thing you've sold?
Oh, sold.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll quickly answer what my regretful purchase and the regretful sold.
Don't tell my regretful sold.
Okay, so regretful purchase would have to be like I bought these like way back when. I bought these like cropped trousers from Commodore Garçons. So I went into the store and it was like $400, and it's just basic trousers. It's a women's line because I could only fit into their pants. Anyway, it was cropped and it like literally sat like as in back like right up here. And it was, like,
it's literally on the calf.
Yeah, and it was like really high, and then I barely even wore it, and like I spent $400 on it.
Fuck me.
I was like 400 or maybe even more than that, and I was like, damn. And then I ended up sending it to Recycle Boutique, and no one's even bought it, man. Like,
fuck.
It's like,
wait, how long ago was this?
This was recently when I dropped it off at Recycle Boutique. But in terms of the purchase, it's probably years ago. I think it's like from fall winter 16, 14, something like that. 16, probably 16. Yeah.
Wait, was it just simple pair of black trousers?
Yeah, it was literally just black trousers with one fold in it, and it was like tapered, and it was just like that's it.
Fuck.
It was basic as like you would have if I show you, you'd be like, man, that's not even that great. Like, and I don't know why I bought it. I think it's just because like I was just
impulse buy.
Yeah, impulse buy, man. I was like, man, these are sick. I think I
had
money at the time.
Yeah, fucking City G boys.
Yeah, I think I was just hyped up. I just had money. I was like, yeah, let's go.
And it's none of that fucking City G play shit.
Yeah,
none of the hearts,
and
bro.
It's like
into
legit,
like real calm.
It's like calm mainline. Anyway, that's probably my regretful purchase. But my regretful piece that I've sold. Oh man, there's so many. But I think the first one that comes to mind, I'll probably even like even DM you if I even think of one. But one that I regretfully sold is probably have to be my Marjola Gats.
Oh, man. Fuck, I remember mine. God damn, I forgot I had them.
Man, yeah, 100. Oh, yeah, you had the highs,
I had the lows as well.
Oh,
in like
damn.
it was cream and brown.
That
was so sick, dude.
I think the Marjola Gats is probably one of my regretful sold items. I'm gonna buy a pair again, but I'm just gonna buy the basic, like the white with the cream accents and then the gum sole.
Exactly, perfect.
Perfect
fucking
shoe.
perfect
100.
shoe.
Beautiful.
Fuck, mine first cat. I've got two. Mine would have to be, for starters.
Turtle doves, not just.
I never had fucking turtle. I had my fucking moon rocks.
Oh yeah.
I made a lot of money off that shit too. That was good. It would have to be Rick on crop trousers.
Oh yeah.
From Foreverline TE material. They were the best fitting fucking trousers ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one would have to be. I'm leaning towards my Creech cargos, but I sold them because the material sucked.
Oh,
it was like a nylon material. It was really stiff. Couldn't walk in them. And like I'm really after the TE material, which was only made till like 2012 or 2013.
Damn.
So like they're really fucking hard to find.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
probably just those two. And I really miss my Suey Cokes.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I really miss that Suey Coke wave.
Yeah, I was
like,
actually
it's
thinking
hard.
about like buying a pair of Sweet Cokes, but I think the one that I want is called the Padre.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like legit like a slipper, but hey man, flex man. It's
Oh,
like a slipper,
mad
man.
flex.
Whatever.
And then I think the more I want's the Kissy V, which is just a slip on. It's like a slide, but it's like a more of like a Sweet Coke slide, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right.
But fuck.
Man, that's a good.
It got me in the feels, bro.
Yeah,
Got me
man.
in the feels about
That
selling
question,
shit.
that question messed me up, man. There's so many regretful sorry, not purchases, but like in what I've sold. But it's been long gone that I've tried to bury that memory.
Yeah, just think about like fuck it, I'll get something similar in the future.
Yeah, or just not think about it again, or else I'll just keep like being sad about it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go into the next topic, which is about relationships. This is going to get real deep, like real quick. All right, so I don't even know where to start, man. All right, so the one question is, tell me about a moment in your past or present relationships that have expanded your capacity. Capacity is open to interpretation, but expanded your capacity.
Damn, all my days. So I glance over these questions. I'm so scared to answer them, but so this one's basically asking, have I learned anything?
Yeah, learn anything. Like as in your previous or past relationships.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like your partners in like direct partners. It could also be your friendship groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just relationships in general.
100% comes to mind when you say that would have to be communication.
Yeah.
So now we're like getting like really deep into the relationships and stuff topic now. So you guys are gonna get in the fucking feels.
Yep.
But
hey, shout outs to those who are single. I know that heaps of my friends.
What's your Instagram, mate? What's your Instagram?
Yeah.
What's your Instagram?
Oh, what's my Instagram?
Yes.
You can plug my Instagram. It's REUBEN .Raymundo, which is RAYMUNDO, and that's it.
It'll be in the description.
100.
If you guys are single,
yeah,
hit up your mans. He's quite a cute lad. He dresses really well too.
I'm real small.
You're a real rock star.
Yeah. Hey, short kings, if you're looking for a short king, like hit your boy up.
On a real note though, definitely from the past relationship that I had was communication. Like if something was on my mind that I was really upset about, it would have to be, and I wouldn't say anything. That was when it was like the major factor, which made me learn in the future. Now, if something's on my mind that something's upsetting me or annoying me, I'll say it like upfront and honest.
Yeah, true.
So, like for instance, if fucking I don't know, I'm just trying to like a simple argument that gets diffused by not talking.
Yeah.
I feel like you really need to sit down and just suss it and discuss like what's going on.
Yeah.
Because from my past relationship, like I was in a relationship for like 8 years, and it got to a point where when we fought, we'd just sit there and wouldn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I feel like if you don't say anything, it's just gonna fucking become a snowball. It's gonna keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
And then it's just gonna become an outburst one day. So one thing I've learned now, is to, if something's on my mind, if something's on the other person's mind, I'll be like, just say it. Like, if something's upsetting you, if I'm doing something unconsciously, just tell me. Like, I got told that I'm always late to shit. like the person that I'm seeing told me, I'm like, is there anything on your mind that's like annoying you? Like, I feel like we're good on like communication level. If there's something annoying you, tell me. And she's like, oh, well, I won't lie, you're always kind of late to things. Like we'll say 7:30 and you're coming like 7:45, and I'm like, fuck. All right, I didn't know, but now I know, and now I'm always on time.
Yeah.
Or if not, I'm like 2 minutes late.
Yeah.
But that's like my main thing. Like if something's pissing you off, just fucking say it.
Yeah, 100%. I think like for me myself, like what I learned in terms of my capacity, I learned communication is definitely 100%. Like I learned like the hard way, like not communicating. I think this comes down to what we talked about last time, our last conversation.
Yeah.
Communication, just as a guy, man.
Exactly.
Like,
it's so fucking hard
really
to say something.
And, like, I think it's just real hard for us to articulate things. It just genuinely is. It's not because we don't want to talk or we don't want to say anything, but just communication is just not a guy's strongest trait.
Yeah, and we spoke about this on the DMs, how like a guy will be seen as just put up with it, just fucking deal with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, bro, you can only say that to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Like, it gets to a point where the guy just can't deal with it anymore. You have to say something.
Yeah, exactly. You get to a point where if you just like bottle it up, like as in, and you just don't think about it, it costs you within the future. Like as in, I definitely believe an integral part of a relationship is communication. As in, like whether it be with your parents, your family, your friends. Even with your spouse, like as in one thing I regret is communicating with my previous spouse, like as in like what was working, what wasn't. Like I remember she'd always like try to like as in one thing is I guess there's wisdom about it, but when we had an argument, she'd always want to settle it right then and there.
Yeah.
But because I was in the feels and emotions, I'd try not to talk about it right then and there because I don't want to speak out of line, or I don't want to say anything that wasn't what I intended to. I don't want to hurt her emotions.
Yeah, because then sometimes you might say something, but not like the way you're trying to say it might come across as different.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it might trigger the certain individual.
Exactly,
And you're like,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
And then you make the situation worse, and you're like, God damn, how do I get out?
Exactly.
You're just making like you're digging yourself a deeper hole.
Exactly. And I wanted to say everything with intentionality.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is, I never did. I never got to express how I feel, and even like till this day, like. There's this, I just have this mad burden on me that I didn't get to exactly express how I feel and how we parted ways and whatnot. And I think that's just on me for not being able to express how I feel in the season that I was in that led me to making decisions in what I did wrong. I didn't cheat on her, right? Let me just state that, but I didn't cheat on her. But like, as in, it's just like what I felt at that moment. It's just like I was in a real low point in my life and I didn't communicate that with her.
Yeah. And then you might see like, might be seen as a bit self-censored to an extent, but it's like, hey, I can't. It's just hard to speak about certain shit. And I was in the exact same boat as you. Like I'd just be sitting there like whinging and moaning and not wanting to do anything. And every time something come up, I wouldn't say anything. And if it was, I'd be like, there'd be a certain anger towards what I said, and then it come across as worse. Yeah. Because I'd be like angry at the time as well, and it just made shit worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Sucked.
So communication was definitely one that I learned the hard way. Second is like my while that I'm single now, like my capacity to love others and like invest in others, like definitely like made me understand that in a different sense, and my capacity to love people was just crazy. Like so, being brought up in a community, like as in. That support me and everything like that with my family and friends, even my church friends, they're hella supportive, even my parents and stuff. Like I made this one post, or I like to call it a declaration post. So like on 2019, like at the end of 2019, I like as in I came out of like hiding, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because you want a bit of a hiatus from IG.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And then so I posted something up, and then I even put like this backlog of what I was going through and stuff, and how I was feeling, because I felt I was in the point where I reflected on like the year that was ahead, like that just had passed, and towards the end of 19, like the last quarter of it, I wanted to kick it in the bum, like just try and end it like as well as I could. Yeah. And so my capacity to like love on others and understand how people love me, and I guess translate that. It was like I learned that in a different way. I learned how to love people, not directly as in like in a relationship, kind of like a girl and guy kind of relationship, but like just being able to invest in other people, like understand their time is like quality and precious to you. Yeah. And as well friendships, like communities, like just understanding that how important it is to you as an individual and how they mold you and how they play an integral role into your independence and growing as an individual, whether that may be like just self-development, or for me it's like spiritual growth, like plays an integral role. Yeah. And that's what I learned, like is on, hey, it's like the capacity to love other people and their role on you is just something that you can't comprehend. Yeah. And it took a while for me to understand that, and I guess it took me like the hard way to be out of relationship to see how much actually people care about me.
Yeah, but I feel like in that case, it's as simple as like you live and learn.
Exactly.
Everyone learns from their mistakes, and
Exactly,
you can always grow from it. But, like adding on to that though, would you say in your previous relationship, did you invest a lot of your time onto the other partner, or did you invest like a lot of energy onto your partner in the previous relationship?
Look, I'd like to say I put my I put a lot of time in that. I don't know what my previous spouse would say. Like she might think otherwise, but I like to think that I invested a lot of time into her and our relationship and our growth together as a couple. But yeah, so like then I guess when I look back at it, like towards the end of that chapter or that season of my life, like I got to see that it's like it just kind of grew a bit, stagnant. But it's because obviously I was going through something at the time.
Yeah.
Not because I was depressed or anything, but it's just like there was a lot of life things that was going on, and I just couldn't comprehend which ones to tackle and stuff like that. So
because in my case would have had to been in my previous relationship, I saw that the other person, like I relied on the other person for happiness, and that was like, for me, I learned a lot from that to see that it shouldn't really be like that. Like, the person that you're with at the time,
definitely,
like, they make you fucking incredibly happy. It's beautiful, but at the same time, you got to think about yourself as well, and making sure that you can make yourself happy and not have to rely on someone to make you happy. Because if you have to rely on someone to be happy, you're not fucking happy in the first place. And that person can only make you happy for so long in terms of you relying on them. Like, if I didn't have to rely on someone to make me happy, them making me happy is just a fucking bonus. And it'll always be a bonus, and it'll always be happy over it. But you have to always look at the self-care point of view as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I think my sole happiness was just her. And like, I'd only be happy, or not only be happy, but like, as in my source of happiness was her.
Exactly.
And everything derived from her. Everything that she did, I loved. Like, quality time that we had together, I loved. Every experience, every moment was like my happiness. But then I realized, like, after the relationship, that was my happiness. That's where I gravitated and centered it all. And it becomes like so dangerous to the point that you don't even realize. You blind yourself to that.
Very true.
And like as in when I read the Bible, and obviously I don't want to get too spiritual, but it even says in the Bible that in like that iron, like as in iron sharpens iron, so does one man does with another. So like as in like, if you had to put in that analogy, like as in like, we should, like as in when it comes to relationships, or even like when you're like as a leader or whatever you guys do, or whoever the audience does or whatever they do, as in like we shouldn't come to like as in, yes, we could take people and stuff like that, like under our wing and everything like that, and like get them to be our protege or whatever, but it's better if we always upskill one another. So like as in, there's a healthy way of doing that I learned is like that you take someone on the journey, you meet someone that's already on the journey that you've already been ahead, so you can gain that wisdom. You meet someone as well that's the same level as you, for the comfortability, and then you also you take someone else that's a bit under you to take under your wing. So you're imparting wisdom, you're imparting leadership, you're imparting like experiences onto them to build them up. So essentially it's just like a nice ecosystem that's like building like leaders, or building like an organization, or even your self-development as well. And I think it's real healthy to do that.
It is.
Like, definitely, as in like, you shouldn't, like as in your sole focus shouldn't be on one individual, and make them your center. Like as in, that person needs to be rock solid, stable all the time. But we all know that as individuals, as humans, we're not always like that.
Exactly.
That stable. We go through life and the emotions and everything like that. For me, like as in my rock solid foundation is my faith, is God and whatnot. Other people might be other different things, but as in, we shouldn't rely so much on people. And so that's why it's like, I think it's real healthy for us as people, like to do that kind of like, learn from someone else that's been like that's done the years or done the seasons before.
And you can learn from that.
Exactly.
So they can, you see it from like mature point of view. You hang out with someone that's a bit more mature. You learn wisdom from them. You gain a bit of understanding of how mature they are. Then you hang out with someone who's your level of mature. Then you hang out with people who are immature, and then you kind of
and then you
bring them, and you become the leader in that sense.
Exactly.
So you get like a bit of both worlds.
Exactly. Definitely. So that's what I mean. That's like the whole nice ecosystem there. Anyway. That's really deep.
That was some deep shit.
So I learned that like within a church sphere, and I think that's totally like applicable to anything that you.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be solely like Christian related. It could be used in everyone's everyday life.
Exactly.
Just being able to blend and learn wisdom from certain people that are a bit more mature than you, or in like different cases, from, let's say, from a marketing point of view, when I start full time, to learn from someone who's way more experienced than me, gain wisdom, and then in the future take someone under my wing who isn't as experienced, and get them to get understanding from me. Because then you get like, you get more of like a stimulant, I guess, because you get that more confidence of being a leader, but then you can also gain understanding and experience from someone who's, you know, more experienced.
Exactly, yeah.
Just
it's more of a practical handle. Like, as in, another example, like, as in, like, Kobe Bryant, right? He's a really good basketball player, but when he was in his prime years, right, there's all of these young guns that were coming in that were really, really good. But the thing is, like, what Kobe did to make sure that he was always going to be on top of his game is that he'll get of the best points, of the best, like, I guess, things from each individual and each player as well, and then adapt it to his playing style as well. So that's smart. So that's what made him like a really, like, a GOAT of all time. You know what I mean?
Because he'd get like the best from each position. When they were young guns and in their prime too, and then adapt it to his play.
And that's what makes them, like, as in, that's what makes him a really good player. Because, like, not only that, because you won't get burnt out so easily. Because, like, as in, if you keep doing the same motions all over and all over again with life or whatever it may be, you go through the motions, but if you're not investing yourself into the right things and you're not learning new things, you're gonna get burnt out. 100%.
Exactly. Yeah,
man, that's a crazy, like, deep, like, topic that we just
it was nice.
Anyway, here's another one. Like, in what way do you think your significantly long relationship helped formed your self-identity? Well, that's crazy.
Fuck, because we've both been in that position. Well, you were 8 years as well?
7? 6, 7, yeah. So we started dating when I was in year 9. Yeah. And then we parted ways only 2018, 2019. Yeah.
So, fuck. In terms of, well, this is, in my case, it'd have to be, I feel like I lost, like, who I was, which isn't to, like, throw shade at, you know, the, I'm not throwing shade at, like, the previous relationship, but we both had lost ourselves, and I didn't really know who I was, who I was known for, like, what I was known for. And I feel like after everything's happened, I've definitely found out, like, who I am. Like, I never used to do shit alone. I hate being alone. But now I'm able to just go out, go for a walk alone, go to the shops alone, go, like, thrifting alone if I need to. And that's, like, I don't know, I feel like with me, the alone time's a good thing. Kind of like know who I am. It's a really deep thing because I'm truly I'm fucking thinking so hard about it.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy when you think about it because, like, you know, we'd always, like, this is the one thing I also learned, back to your previous question, would have to be to not hang out with them every single day. Like, for instance, if I didn't want to do something, the person from previous relationship would be like, no, like, I want to see you. And then, like, sometimes it might be a chore. And it's fuck, like, I feel bad, but, like, I just want my alone time. And I know that now, in that case, if the other person who I'm seeing wants alone time, fuck yeah, go ahead. Like, I don't care. But I know in my case, if I want alone time, they'll be like, it's cool, 100%. Because, you know, you can only feel like when you move in with someone, yeah, it's good, but you both work full time, you don't really see each other most of the day. But if you're hanging out every single day, all the time, it can just, like, you don't get enough time to yourself. So one thing I definitely learned with my identity would have to be, I found myself of who I am with terms like my YouTube, my fashion, my music, finding, like, vinyl now, back into the gym, going back into the grind, trying to find a job. Like, that's who I am now. And I definitely found that after the relationship had finished. Which you, once again, like, you live and learn. Yeah,
definitely. I think I'm gonna go, like, hella spiritual here. So, like, sorry for the audience if I'm gonna trigger you guys. But, like, as in,
no, but you can always learn from spiritual, because I feel like, in my point of view, I'm a bit spiritual in that I always see that someone's watching over me. Or, like, in my case, when last year October came by and I was in, like, fucking just going through some hard shit, going through, like, a breakup, I always saw it as, this is God threw a challenge at me, and he's testing me. And if I pass this test, I'm gonna be fucking better than I was before. And 100%. Like, look at us now, we're fucking better than ever. Exactly.
I think for myself, like, as in, definitely, it's like self-reliance, as in, like, not self-reliance, but just knowing who I am as an individual. As in, not trying to, like, throw back at that relationship. We had really good times, definitely, but if I had to highlight that, like, as in, I got to focus on myself. I got to understand who I am as an individual. I got to understand, like, my thinking. I got to understand, like, what processes I take and what are my bad habits. I got to identify that.
Exactly.
And like, actually know what I want to work on, like that is bad. Like as in, for example, I used to like swear. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, but as in, just for an example, I try not to swear, man. Like as in, I just feel that like for me, like as in, I don't want to swear. Like as in, I want to try and cut that out of my life. I want to try and cut out like as in how I see or view girls, even though we're talking about girls like as in real dirty, but like I try not to like as in, I'm trying not to see them as a piece of meat, you know, like that's what guys do, you know what I mean? Like,
which is fuck how some guys do say it, like, as a piece of meat. That's fucked.
Yeah,
like,
but it's true. Like some guys actually genuinely think like that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that I don't, but like I'm not trying to say that I do or I don't, but I'm trying to like step back and be like, hey, I actually appreciate you as an individual, as a girl, and stuff like that. But I'm not there to like make like as in I'm not there for sexual things, you know what I mean? I'm there to just generally do a relationship and do life with you. And I think that's what I'm trying to like step into, like, and that's hard, man. Guys always like just have that genuine, like, I mean, it's just fashioned into us as guys as a masculine being like that. We just check out like girls all the freaking time, and I try not to do that. Like I really try not to. It's really hard, man. And I kid you not, for girls, you probably don't understand how hard it is for a guy not to check out another girl.
No shit, I don't check out girls at all.
Like, isn't really?
Like, nah, not really. Nah.
Oh, interesting.
Like the only girl I check out is Ariana Grande.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think for me, like, as in, I think that I'm not just speaking for myself, but there's a lot of guys that I speak to.
Yeah, there's heaps.
Even my
like,
circle, that like, man, like we generally can't. Like, it's really hard for us not to check out
like even like with the boys group and all that shit, that always like point out, fuck, check out that hot girl over there.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't be the one saying it, but if I was to look at another girl, it's not looking at him like, fuck, look how hot she is. I always look at what is she wearing. Yeah, because then I find inspo for that.
Yeah,
like
I think this is like like changing my like how I view things is definitely like when it comes to girls, that is how I view them is not so much as like, I mean, I appreciate your looks, man. God bless you with something, man. Crazy,
of course,
crazy. But as in terms of that, is like I just want to step away from that and try not to be like this. Is I'm just gonna be real and be vulnerable. Like, as long as guys do this, man. Like, I'm not speaking for every guy, but some guys do. Like, or I guess a large part of guys. Yeah. Check out girls, and I think that's one thing that's really like destroyed. Well, not destroyed my relationship, but I like to think that it would have affected my spouse. And I'm pretty sure she probably knows that, isn't like. Yeah,
and I feel like if it was from the other end of the spectrum, I'd be a bit like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like if your significant other was always checking out guys and shit, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've always like, my worst trait is I'm pretty jealous.
Yeah, yeah.
And I definitely learned from my previous relationship, I'm not as jealous anymore as I was when I used to be.
Yeah, I'm not so much jealous though, but like, as in, I think as my spouse would always, I mean, not really check out guys, but I could tell who she'd find cute, but she wouldn't really say it. But I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I'm just chill because I knew that we were like really together, and so like I didn't really mind. I knew like she wouldn't cheat on me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hope she'd like to think that about me as well. But you know, but yeah, in terms of that, there's a lot of things that I wanted to change about my self identity, and I got to understand so much about myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, my flaws, and change that and stuff. Yeah. So the next question I want to ask you, this is real deep, but like
we'll probably make it the last one because my laptop's about to die.
Oh damn! Okay.
Wait, we can smash 2 more. My laptop's gonna fucking die. I'm getting cut.
Comment on men's unsaid vulnerabilities within relationships and how it can empower others out there.
Damn.
That's pretty deep.
Well, you made these yourself.
Yeah, I made
that's
these myself,
fucking mean, bro. That is mad respect.
That's crazy.
Definitely the one thing.
Things that guys tackle like with.
Fuck, man, fucking guys tackle maybe depression, anxiety, but don't know it.
Yeah, that's true.
That is 100% true. Like, there'll be dudes out there, single in relationship, and something's going on, they don't say anything, and it's like, it's fucking killing you. Like, if you don't say anything, you can only, like we've said this before, you can only carry it for so long.
Yeah.
And I feel like in that vulnerable sense, you need to be able to speak to, you know, like your best mate, your parents, psychologists or something, even though like there's such like a stigma with going to a therapist. I found, like, even when I was in high school, like I remember there'd be like this kid who there'd be like wasn't a rumor, but like we'd hear a kid go see a therapist or counselor and be like, that's so fucking gay, like the guy's so fucking weird. Like this all boys school, obviously everyone's gonna talk smack. But thinking about it now, obviously a lot more mature. We're both at 24. Oh, you turned 24 this year.
Yeah, I'm turning 24.
Yeah, and I turned 25.
I'm getting old.
Getting fucking old, bro.
Yeah, 100.
But like, you think about it now, that stigma's long gone. Like, if you need to see someone, go fucking see someone. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, it is kind of hard. Obviously, the first time you go in, it's like, whoa, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I feel like that definitely would have to be, like, number one on people's lists, especially guys, if there's something on their mind and they don't know how to say it.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you, like, I feel like there's a lot of bad stigma on like guys crying.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
I don't know. Do you cry in movies?
Oh man, I've done it a couple of times. Like 100%.
I cry all the time.
I'm not gonna lie. I cried in a Korean drama, and I also cried in a movie. Crap, what movie was it? It was like a really basic ass movie, but I just cried. Like I don't know why. Oh, the most recent one I cried in was Crazy Rich Asians.
What the fuck? Which scene?
I don't know. Right? I think it's because
what fucking scene?
I think it's just the acceptance of the mom and stuff. It didn't really speak to me, but I think it's just the relationship part of
Damn.
it. Just like as like not being accepted by the society and like.
Fucking hell.
But I cried, man, 100%. And then it was like, damn. I was like, yeah. I was just like, I cried. I don't know why. Like I was just like, but I think it's just because like it was maybe because I was just in a really bad state of like the relationship part. Yeah. And I was just like toying with all kinds of feelings, man.
What was the last movie I fucking cried in?
I cried in that, man. And there was like, oh yeah, Korean drama. If you guys haven't seen Goblin, like Korean drama, that's really good.
What's it about?
Oh man, long as.
Oh, long as. Give it like let's like one sentence.
Yeah. Oh, so it's about like this couple essentially. This guy lives forever. Like he's been living forever anyway. They call him a goblin, but he's not really a goblin. That's what they just dub him as.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's been living for ages, and he's and then there's this one like, he's been cursed his whole life, and the only way to like for him to like as in rest peacefully, is to like as in have this like to meet this one individual who's supposed to be the love of his life and remove this thing in him. But anyway, you gotta watch it. It's a crazy. And it's really famous. Like, it's a really famous Korean drama. If you guys can watch, if you can handle like foreign TV shows, subtitles, do it. I would highly recommend it.
I watched this one movie with Will Smith. And it was like it's pretty old. It's from like.
Damn! I think I know which one it is.
What is it?
He has a kid, yeah. Oh, is it that one?
Nah, he's not a kid. He's actually.
No, he has a kid.
No, that's The Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay,
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't fucking seen it.
That's sad.
Oh, it's called 7 Pounds.
I haven't seen it.
Bro, I cried in that. Oh, it's a fucking good film. Yeah. It's like this Will Smith plays this dude who gets in a car accident and kills his fiance and 6 other people. Because it's 7 pounds, he tries to redeem himself and kind of make himself feel better by changing 7 people's lives.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. It's a really good film. That's probably
I still don't get how I cried in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. I don't know how you did.
Sorry, guys. To those viewers or those listeners who's listening right now, if you're laughing, I'm sorry. Okay? Like, don't hate on me.
Dude, I cried in fucking Toy Story.
Yeah,
like, Toy Story's cartooning as shit.
Yeah, man, that's funny as. I think what unsaid vulnerabilities for me, if I had to point one out, is just I think a lot of guys just have we're just not so emotional. Like we're actually emotional beings. Like
yeah, exactly.
Guys,
yeah,
we're real emotional beings. But the thing is, like, it kind of off the back what you said. It's just that we just don't have the ability to voice out or articulate how we feel. Yep. We talked about this earlier. It's like just as guys, we just generally can't process things like a girl.
Yeah,
and I think it's just not saying that girls is a bad thing, but as in like. It's because the communities and the platforms that girls have built, it's like they have that comfortability with sharing. Yeah,
and we spoke about on the DMs how you were like, they've got like their friendship group and all girls they can speak to about shit.
Exactly.
But if you're a guy, you can't speak to the boys about certain shit that's going on because it's weird.
It's a stigma. And I honestly believe that, like, even hopefully through this conversation, guys will be able to have, like, as in, maybe even to us or maybe even to whoever their friends is, like, to be that conversation starter. I honestly believe that bringing something into the light in a natural process and being able to converse about that and just saying that it's okay to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Or it's okay to be a failure and stuff like that. But it's like, it's at the end of the day, we're not there to shun upon you or to downgrade you. At the end of the day, we're like, as in, if you're part of a really good community of friends, like they're gonna help you out.
Exactly.
They're gonna be like, hey, you're going through that. You know what? I'm actually going through the same thing. You know, and you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that have similarities and problems, and even in their seasons in life that we just don't understand because as guys we just don't share about it.
Yeah, and like you could be going through something that someone like another dude will be going through, but you both have no idea.
Exactly.
And like you obviously can both relate if you only speak about it.
Exactly.
But it's just that initial step of trying to speak and articulate what the hell's going on That's just like probably the hardest bit.
Yeah, being able to distill everything that's going on, that like, and I think that's why we connected really well in our last conversation, because we just came out of relationships and it was just like a really crap time for both of us.
Exactly. And we're just really just in the feels. Yeah. Let's just express fucking everything all in one go.
Just poured it all out. Yeah. But, I mean, the outcome of that is like, look at where we are now. Like,
exactly.
I mean, I'm not gonna say we're stronger than we, but we're 100% stronger than we were like now. And honestly speaking, like when I was speaking to you, like it helped me empower myself and be like, hey, I can carry my next day on because there's someone else that was going through the same thing, and I know that I can do this journey like of my self-development within my relationship with friends, even my relationship with my spirituality. I can do this because like there's other people that are going through the same thing. I want to be that person who's gonna, I want to be that leader to lead people, because I know what I've been through, because people can relate to my experience as well, and I can lead them as well to that place. I can speak from a place of experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it comes back to like your the thing about you said the read in the Bible, how you were like having someone that's a bit more mature than you and leading on. It'd be like the exact same thing here. If we've gone through something like this, if there's someone else that's probably like down in the dumps through a breakup, we can be those leaders to help those, you know, people in that certain situation and learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
I think the one thing that I wish I heard more, like within like a tough time, it's like, hey, Rubes, it's all good. It's like, and you can actually do so much. It's like that's fine. You know, I wish I heard more comforting like things like in that situation, rather than like as in not hearing it at all. Yeah. And I think just the comfort and being able to people understand you or empathize with what you're going through definitely does help. Yeah,
my mum definitely played a big role. She was the one saying, hey, don't worry about it, like everything will be fine. Yeah. Like don't stress. Like if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. Just try not to think about it. And I was like, fuck. True. I mean, at the time I didn't want to hear it. I was like, get fucked. But now I'm like,
at the time,
after a couple days later, I was like thinking about like, you know what? It makes sense. Yeah. Makes 100%. So much sense.
Yeah, I remember heaps of people telling me some hard conversations. I didn't want to hear it at the time. But looking back at it, it's like I'm real respectful of what you did and imparted a lot of wisdom into my life and my situation, and I can carry out my season, the next season ahead because of that. Kind of on that self-development kind of thing, there's two questions, but I don't know which one to really...
Well, this one's a good one. How do you tackle self-perceived negative connotations?
Oh, that's a hard one. I actually wanted to ask you this, but oh man, damn, how do I do that? I think like with self-perceived negative connotations, I try not to think of it as much, but it's real hard because like it's self-perceived, which is the hardest thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's hard to like think that, oh, this guy's thinking this of me, and or like that, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
I always used to think like that, like especially at the start of my YouTube when I got like negative comments and shit. Yeah. But now I always see it as like, you're not in charge of me. Yeah. Like I don't care. Like this is my thing. I don't care what you have to say about me that's negative. Yeah. Only negative, because when it comes to positive, I'm all for it, because I'm like, fuck yeah. Or if there's like critique or advice that you can give me to improve, that's different. That's cool.
That's different.
But if it's like negative, like, hey, you look like shit, you look like trash, you fucking dress shit, it's like, bro, shut up. Yeah. Like, just shut up.
I think at the end of the day, what helps me is definitely the community. Like, that helps me, like, build who I am and build or like, reform my thinking. Yeah. As in terms of negative connotations, that's self-perceived. Like, as in, that's just yourself thinking this. Like, you know, it's not what the actual public may think about you. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the community that you surround yourself in, like, I want to go back to the spirituality side of it. As in, like, the people that I understand, I know who my identity is in. And I don't want to go too much into, like, Bible bashing, but, like, as in, I know my identity is just in my faith, in God and everything like that. I devote my life into that, and that's why I know that even though that these people might have really bad perceptions of me, I know that's not me. I know that's not what I'm saying, because I've got heaps of people, a community around me that's investing in me, saying the right things about me, leading me into the right way, even though sometimes it might be a hard pill to take, but that's not it's not negative connotation per se, but it's like critiques and to build me up. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when it comes to terms of that, I think knowing who you are as self-identity is very key. Mm-hmm. Like very, very key. Because they're all self-perceived. You can't, I mean, it's not, that's just you, what you think about yourself. And
that's what you think about. Like every time you look in the mirror, if you think negative about yourself, it's only going to get worse. Exactly. So if, you know, like for instance, in my case, if I see myself, I've got like pretty self-conscious when it comes to that. Yeah. That's why I rely on fashion and dressing up to make myself feel better. But there'll obviously be days where I have those negative connotations and negative thoughts, like, fuck, I look like shit, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But then I'll just try to ignore it or just put it to the side and just not think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And more think on the positive side, because the positive side can take you so far, whereas negative will get you nowhere.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. And I think, like I said, you just got to take it with, you just got to take everything with with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, even though it might be negative, like, allow everything that you may hear, like, to build you up rather than to tear you down.
Ah, okay. That's a good way to think about it.
That's how I always like to think about it. It's like, no matter what someone might say about me, as in, like, take that as a thing to build you up.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it might be just saying like, you look like crap. You and it's like, all right, then I'll change.
Then I'll do something.
Then I'll do something about it.
Exactly.
It's like you don't like me. That's cool. Like, everyone has personality clashes.
Exactly.
But you know what? I'm gonna make the effort to make sure that I change in front of you, not to fake it till you make it kind of vibe, but so that I can cater to you. So I can be like, you can accept me for who I am, or like, so that we can become like as in community, and like, and actually accept me into who I am, and then we can come to an understanding. So I always like to think that it's like, no matter what is said about you, negative or positive, you always use it to build yourself up.
Okay, that's one thing I'm definitely going to take after this conversation, is using the negative to fuel the fire.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if someone has something shit to say about you, yeah, that's obviously going to be bad, but you can, like you said, take it with a grain of salt and use that for positive.
Exactly, yeah. And I think
for instance, let's say someone comments saying, oh, like, your video quality is a bit trash. Like, all right, next time I'll up it up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as simple as that.
And it honestly is like, someone might actually hate my style.
Yeah.
But it's like, what? I like my style right now, but it's like, I don't have the money for it to
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might think it's weird, but I mean, I guess you'll come to an understanding with when you get into clothes and stuff like that. You'll come to an understanding of like why I dress a certain way. You'll understand communities based around everything.
Exactly.
And you'll start to understand. There's like different styles that you can cater towards. And I'll let you come to an understanding about that, but you're not there yet. So I can understand where you're coming from.
Damn, so what a combo, bro.
So that's why I don't think when people say like, oh, you're weird, it's like, I don't really take it, like, I don't really take offense to it.
Yeah, I don't either. For me, it's like
I like to banter. It's like, you're weird.
Like, you're fucking weird, man. But at
the end of the day, it's like, they just don't know. Like, no one knows. So
and I'll take weird as I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, I'd rather be weird than normal.
Exactly, yeah. It's true. But at the end of the day, no one is normal. Like,
exactly.
What is normal?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a someone dressing normal doesn't really exist in our category at all.
Exactly. And even like just in terms of like acting normal, like as in, like acting normal in a certain area, like, let's just say in Australian culture, right? How to act normally here would be so much different if you put that person and you put him into like a Southeast Asian context.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's so different.
Yeah.
So what is normal at the end of the day?
I feel more spiritual after this.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot that I wanted to unpack, and like there's a lot of thoughts, but I hopefully.
No, you'll be back again. Don't you worry. You're going to be back again for another podcast for sure.
Well, hopefully, whoever's listening to this, I hope it empowered you. You took some points from this, and like from this conversation, hopefully you can for the guys that is, you can come to a conversation and come to like understand that hey, it's okay to feel a certain way.
Exactly, because the both of us have been through something like. We both been through literally the exact same thing almost.
Yeah.
And learning from that and be able to give other people advice and, they can learn from what we've been through.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially as a guy as well who doesn't really like speak about it much.
Yeah.
It's good to unravel.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it cut out accidentally, but now we're back, but we're going to finish it here. So,
okay, yeah.
I feel like next time we've got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And I guarantee you we'll do it in a more creative manner, guys. Like, as in, those listening to the podcast, as like, we like to have fun. But
exactly.
We're going to make it interesting.
And then by the next time you come on, I'll have like maybe a decent setup. Because now we're just in the car. I'm sweaty. It's fucking steamy as in here. It's steaming
in the car. It's like so hot. Like, kid you not.
I'm so sorry, bro. Because like my room was just so echoey, and I'm like, this isn't going to work. But I know next time like we'll have like the 2 mics. Like we'll actually film it as well. People get to see you.
Oh yeah,
which will be a vibe and a half.
Oh damn!
People will be able to see the Steez.
No, I'm good. You don't want to see my 5'3" ass. Like I'm good. But
yeah, just fucking thank you for being on the pod.
No, Matt, it was a vibe.
Really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, catches, man. Thank you.
I'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
so fly? Sugar, sugar, how you get so fly? Sugar, sugar, how you get so fly? Sugar, sugar, how you get so fly?
You know it's together when we ride, wood banging raw high. Doing what we do, watching screens, getting high. Girl, you keep it so fly with your sweet honey buns. You was there when the money gone, you be there when the money comes. Off top, I can't lie, I love to get blow. You're my little sugar, I'm your little chulo. And every time we kick it, it's all to the groovy. Treat you like my sticky icky or my sweet ooey gooey.
Got me lifted, shifted higher than the ceiling. And ooh, it's the ultimate feeling. You got me lifted, feeling so gifted. Sugar, how you get so fly? Sugar, 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 sugar, how you get so fly?
Now I ain't worried about a thing, I just hit me a lick. I got a fat sack and a super fly chicken. If I ain't acting, you could say to a player. Cause do she fly like the planes in the air. That's right, she full grown, setting the wrong tone. I'm digging the energy and I'm loving the ozone. So fly like a dove, fly like a raven. Quick to politics, so fly conversation in a natural mood. And I'm a natural dude, and we some natural fools blowing out by the pool. She like my sexy cool mama with blades on the Gavana, rockin' Doja Cubana, hydro in the guana.
Lifted, shifted higher than the ceiling. And ooh, it's the ultimate feeling. You got me lifted, feeling so gifted. Sugar, how you get so fly? Sugar, 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 sugar, how you get so fly?
You know it's together when we ride, wood banging raw high. Doing what we do, watching screens, getting high. Girl, you keep it so fly with your sweet honey buns. You was there when the money gone, you be there when the money come. You know it's together when we ride, wood banging raw high. Doing what we do, watching screens, getting high. Girl, you keep it so fly with your sweet honey buns. You was there when the money gone, you be there when the money comes. For real,
Got
though.
me lifted, shifted higher than the ceiling. And ooh, it's the ultimate feeling. You got me lifted, feeling so gifted. Sugar, how you get so fly? Sugar, 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 sugar, how you get so fly?
So high like I'm a star. So high like I'm a star. So high like I'm a star. So high like I'm a star.